Loading snacks.
Yo, what's good, Loading Snacks Universe? Your boy Jokes is here. I got the usual suspect Marcus in the building. Got the homie in the side to come on along for the journey. And we got two special guests in the building. I know I say special guests. Let's be real, these dudes are family. They're part of this. I'm finally happy to have Mike and Ben from the AwesomeMania Podcast here with us on the Finisher Podcast. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Relaxed, actually.
Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Yeah. Happy Independence Day.
So today,
did you all leave your milk and cookies out for Captain America last night?
I thought you were supposed to leave out a Slim Jim and a creamer for Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh. Why? What's he got to do with the 4th of July?
I saw a meme and it was a good one. That's why. Okay. Somebody actually did post the 4th of July meme of like leaving out it was actually Macho Man in his USA gear and everything.
By that rationale, you could do the same thing for Zack fucking Ryder. Because he wore the American flag once. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. At least he's yelled USA.
Yeah, I guess you leave out a 2x4 for him, so.
Oh, man. This is why I love having these guys with us right now. But this is the Finisher Podcast where we get together and we just have some conversations about some good old wrestling. Whether
it's nice to be on when we're not doing predictions.
And hey, we're gonna make it a normal thing. This is where we just talk about wrestling, past, future, present, just general topics and everything that we just want to talk about on here. So for this show, for the most part, I'm giving Ben and Mike, or I should say, I'm giving Ben really the reins on our main two topics of the show. And then for our Patreon exclusive topic, I'm going to have the homie Sin drop something on there for it. I know my man's been ready. He said he wanted to have a topic and he has one. So I'm ready to get things started. We'll go ahead, kick these two off, and then we'll take a quick little break in between, and then we'll go into that Patreon topic. But let's just go right on into it. Ben, I'm throwing you the ball right now.
Just Ben topic.
Ben topic.
Oh wait, just point at the little nameplate.
Yeah,
that's the topic, you know.
But we already, we already kind of knew that this was probably going to be a topic when we were having discussions and talking within the wrestling chat. All right, Marcus, I
haven't said nothing. I haven't said nothing.
But
I'm sitting back. I'm chilling.
I'm gonna give you.
Hey, I'm right there with you, Sid. I'm right there with you.
But let's go ahead. So, Ben, what do you have against the Wyatts? The Wyatt Sicks. Like, no matter how I say that, like, it still comes out like the number 6.
Is that his actual topic?
I think that's the point of why they have it the name the way they do.
Mm-hmm.
The topic is, long story short, this dates back to the debut of the Wyatt Sicks on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I would go so far as it goes back to the Bray Wyatt documentary, when everyone was like, "Oh, the Bray Wyatt documentary was so good," blah 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 blah. And right at the beginning of that, Bo Dallas is meeting up with the person who did all of Bray's masks and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a throwaway line that's like, "We're here to make something that will make Bray proud." And then at the end of that documentary, there's like the tease. If you haven't seen it, spoilers. What are you doing, buddy? And I came away, everyone was like, "Oh my God, that tease at the end." And I came away from it going, this documentary was not impressive. All right. It's leagues beyond what any other wrestling company could put together. True. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't a very impressive documentary to me because it didn't tell you things you didn't already know. It didn't inform you of anything. Fast forward a couple of months and we had the debut of the Wyatt Sicks on Raw. Of the teasers of the Wyatt Sicks. Like the QR codes and all of that stuff. Which was drawn out for far too fucking long. Like, even the return of Bray himself was only like maybe 6 weeks. They were doing the White Rabbit thing. The Wyatt Sicks stuff went on for 2.5 months, and it had Twitch streams, and it had stuff on The Break, and it took over the WWE.com and all this other stuff. So much like with other franchises, if you wanted to experience the entire ARG, either A, someone else was playing it for you and just showing you stuff, or B, you were just missing things. Because not everyone was going to catch everything. And then we have the debut of the Wyatt Sicks on Raw, where they attacked a bunch of people backstage, and the entire internet community collectively shat itself about, oh my god, this is amazing. And I was just like, was it though? And I do believe several people in this chat went, beg your pardon?
Yep.
And then since then we've had the 2 VHS videos with Bo Dallas and Uncle Howdy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Where to start? At no point am I doubting that this is visually appealing, it's being edited well. At no point am I doubting that, like, oh, that was cool. That was a cool way to introduce a group. Let's talk about the Wyatt Sicks itself. Right? Who here is in favor of the Wyatt Sicks? Who's going to be defending them?
I'm going to say a couple of us, but I feel like he's going to be the primary. He's going to be the primary.
I will say I'm the primary.
All right. When was the last time a spooky gimmick worked in WWE? Fiend didn't.
I was going to say probably Taker. If you're talking like actually successful and do it, probably Taker.
I mean, it would have been Finn if he wasn't injured by Seth Rollins. It would have worked.
No, it wouldn't.
No. Fiend would never have worked because of how Vince booked.
No, he said Finn.
Oh, Finn? Oh,
and
sorry,
Finn,
I thought he said Fiend.
And you can say all you like about the demon, right? But he ain't that spooky. We just know he's Finn Balor in face paint, right?
Like,
it's not his whole gimmick.
I never considered the Finn demon thing spooky because the whole thing is
the
whole
last
point of it
actually
is
spooky gimmick that worked in the WWE was Kane. And the only reason Kane worked is because The Undertaker worked.
Well, can I ask this to you, Ben? Could you say that in essence the Boogeyman worked?
No.
The limited use that they used?
No, because at the end of the day, what is the second W in WWE for? And the Boogeyman couldn't. And you know what? 4 out of the 5 members of the Wyatt Sicks can't either. Try me jokes.
Ooh, you want to take that jokes? He said,
Nah,
tried you. On the show.
Come at me.
So, who do you have the biggest issue with within the Wyatt Sicks?
The biggest issue?
Mm-hmm.
Eric
We said
Rowan.
4 out of 5, so out of the 5.
Out of the 5, the one that I think can wrestle is Nikki Cross.
Agree.
I think Joe Gacy is so young in his career, he has potential. The other 3 can get in the fucking sea.
Well,
And you
I
know
don't
how
know
I
about
know?
that because Dexter
You know how I
Loomis
know?
can wrestle.
You know how I know? Because they all got fucking released before.
I mean, I feel like it was more involved than just the fact he couldn't run that way.
Well,
But
Dexter wasn't released though. He was just
Yes, he
off
was.
doing.
Yeah, he was.
he was.
He was released.
He got picked back
got
when he
brought
started
back
doing the
when
thing
Triple
like
H
the
took
Miz.
over.
He started like the Miz and stuff like that. He had just come back. He had like randomly showed up in the audience or whatever it was. But I think Dexter Lumis, I felt, was okay. But then when he really started to lean into...
Dexter Lumis has like 5 moves, and everyone forgave him for it because he was involved with the way, which was entertaining.
I can see where you can come from on.
So you saying Bo Dallas can't wrestle?
Bo Dallas can't wrestle. Would he have ended up in the Social Outcasts with that other bunch of jobbers? Would he have ended up in the B team if he could wrestle?
I just think that's just a oversaturation of better talent. That's not degrading his skills.
How is that any different today when there are arguably more better wrestlers on the roster than there were then?
It's all about the numbers. It's about the numbers, and right now, the biggest thing this year is the passing
Joe
of
Hendry's
Bray.
appearance on NXT.
Broke everything.
But Joe Hendry isn't under a WWE contract.
Doesn't matter. If it's about the numbers, it doesn't matter.
He did it.
But it's not continuous. It's not consistent. It's about consistency. And
he's appeared once. It's 100% record, my dude.
No, this will be your second time in WWE.
No.
But the first time, listen, you can't really count the first.
He was Rusev's interviewer.
And listen, even that one, I can't give you that because literally he wasn't. That was on accident too.
He wasn't even supposed to be the interviewer.
I watched the interview that he did. That actually happened on accident because they thought he was actually the person that was supposed to do it, and they just asked him go buy some, get some red ties. It was they had already hired someone, had the person like shave their head bald and everything. Like they had already had this in. I can't give you that one. I can't give you because that show. When I found that out, I died.
At the end of the day, Wyatt Sicks is good for business. It's going to push merch. It's going to open up other avenues, and if they do it properly, they can have a rotating 6-member where people can come in.
The 6 members is going to be Alexa Bliss. We all know that. That's the 6th person.
And you can say.
But even so, it can still be a rotational 6-member.
Being good for business is fine, right? Just because something's good for business doesn't make it good. John Cena was good for business. Are you telling me Super Cena was good? Because I will end you.
Super Cena is good for business.
Oh, wait till we see you at ReZCon.
We all hated Super Cena. Like, so Marcus, let me ask you this. So, because like I said, you're going to be the big defender here. Who? Let's take, because obviously
I'll give him Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan has always been shaky to me. I'll give him Eric Rowan, and Joe Gacy is being still fresh and still green, but Nikki Cross and Dexter, and in my opinion, Bo Dallas are solid.
Now here's what I want to ask you.
I did not dispute that.
Here's what I want to ask you because
Bo Dallas and sorry, I want to clear this up. I'm not saying they're not strong hands. That doesn't make them excellent wrestlers. That doesn't make them top of the card wrestlers, which is the position they are being put in right now. Right? How do I explain this? The point of a stable, of creating a stable in any wrestling, is to elevate the members of that stable, right? And these people are being pushed to the moon. And the moment they step between the ropes, they're going to come back down to earth harder than Newton's apple.
In that retrospect, I believe that enough time has passed. They've been training. They've been doing side stuff. There's all these schools. I believe they would not have pulled the trigger if they believed they could not perform at that upper echelon, high tier level.
That's fair. And
like, if you know this person
honestly,
is weak in this aspect, or they can't talk on the mic, or they can't do this, if they're pushing this group specifically this hard, they would to have put them as they weren't seen on TV, as they weren't getting actual on-screen time, doing promos, being in the ring, they would be in the back working, making sure that they are ready. So when they get in that ring and they start having matches or whatever, that it is what it's supposed to be. I'm not saying they're all going to have 5-star matches. That's not what I'm saying. But they should be damn near putting on a show and showing.
Mm-hmm. But they've been given the ball in the past and they have fumbled it. Every single one of them.
But again, that's under a different regime. We're under a brand new regime now who's more hands-on, direct, and there's no bullshit. It's like, look, if I don't think you're ready, you're not ready. You're not getting this.
Jade Cargill.
And that's because I was gonna ask you, Marcus. Like right now, the one that I'm a little worried about.
Valkyria.
No, he's just gonna start.
2 people called up, weren't ready. Had nothing for him. Donovan Dijak. Called him up. Released him, didn't re-sign him because they didn't have anything for him. Natalia. They're going to let Natalia's contract expire. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest veterans.
She's been offered a contract. She just hasn't signed it.
But the point being, you can't come in and say, "Oh, they were going to train them. They won't let them on screen till they're ready." I've just named 2-3 people that they just put.
But they had stuff for Jade. They had stuff for Jade,
but she's not ready.
She's still a little green. Like, cause I was about to ask you, like, Marcus, like right now,
she's still rough around the edges, but she's
not
doing terribly.
Like Marcus, the one that I'm mostly concerned about.
I'm not saying that Dexter Lumis and the others are going to be terrible. I'm saying that they have been pushed into the main event scene in the top storyline on Raw. The thing that wants to be Raw's bloodline.
That's valid. My issue.
They ain't no Roman Reigns.
No.
They ain't Sami Zayn. They're not Kevin Owens. These are the names that make, like, Jimmy and Jay. Say what you like about them. They're a really good tag team.
So, but Marcus, how do you feel about Bo? Because right now, Bo is the one that I'm a little concerned about. Like, he hasn't competed. We haven't seen him wrestle. We haven't seen him do anything. I enjoy the cinematic things that he has done with Uncle Howdy and him. Like, that stuff is good. But I am a little concerned about potentially what he's going to be like in the ring. The rest of them obviously have been more recently.
I mean, we've only seen what Bo can do one time, and that was in the Blacklight match, the Mountain Dew match. We got a small snippet of it, but we haven't fully seen main screen Bo Dallas hardcore 30 minute, 45 minute matches. We haven't seen that. I understand where you're coming from, and it's valid to feel that way.
Yes.
And I'm not discrediting it. I just think as of this point now and currently, I believe he is trained his butt off. I believe 100%. Whoa,
just go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. You know you want to say Bo leave. Just go ahead and say it.
I'm going to say it. I believe in him. And I want him to do well.
And I seriously want him to do well, just like you said, Ben. And I believe he will. I believe that he's gonna take himself to that place to be great. Instead of being in that mid-card stats, I believe he will meet our expectations to a degree.
And he could have done all of that without the Wyatt Sicks.
I feel like this is a Hunter pull move, and
I don't know.
Bo just said, I'm on board.
You cut the exact same promo from the first VHS tape where he talks about losing Wyndham. And you have it be Bo Dallas talking to Michael Cole. And you then have Bo Dallas come back and start winning matches and grind his way up the card, win Money in the Bank, whatever. It would achieve just the same thing of elevating Bo Dallas up the card or Wyndham Rotunda or whatever you want to end up calling him, as the Wyatt Sicks did. However, it wouldn't have brought 5 other jobbers with him. It would have brought so many other people with him and had this spooky stereotype, none of which ever bloody worked since The Undertaker. Maybe Mankind. WWE has tried spooky bollocks recently in NXT, which is an area, which is a brand which is more used to having weird, out of this world, like gimmicks like The Family and Chase U and the Metaphor, right? They tried it. They had Schism. Schism was so bad, they yanked Ava out because she can't fucking wrestle and made her the GM. The grizzled young veterans quit, and now Joe Gacy's gone to another fucking spooky gimmick. Spooky. If this was Lucha Underground,
It would all be super
all
fire.
behind this. I would be all the way behind this. But it isn't. This is the World Wrestling Entertainment, where so much more of the content now is about the wrestling.
I mean, you guys still got that E in there. You still got that E in there, and it's like,
Yeah, but it doesn't. What I'm saying is, it doesn't fit. This gimmick doesn't fit. The Bloodline could fit because it's about being the best, right? This is about five people who were forgotten by the others, who suddenly became spooky and put on masks and got tattoos and grew beards. Especially Nikki Cross's beard. I mean, like, and it could come down the road that I'm like, yeah, good. Bo Dallas did great, right? But to pull back the curtain a little bit, we all watched Forbidden Door together this last Sunday, and I've been saying on this show for months about how fucking bad Mercedes Moné is at promos, and everyone's like, she's all and then we got to the press conference, it's most recent Sunday, and everyone was just like, shut the fuck up, you are so bad.
I'm assuming we're on Ben topic number 2 now.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I feel like there's a bridge.
I didn't say
but
that. I
we're
was
like,
it's okay.
We're standing at the bridge.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is,
cooked.
I hope that this doesn't repeat. That if I have this opinion, I am proven wrong. I would love Bo to succeed. I would love Eric Rowan to succeed, who's only really in this because he was Bray and whatever his face's friend.
Hey, you put respect on Brody Lee's name. You
Why?
remember it.
Why?
Man was great. Was great.
Was
Yes.
he?
Yes.
You might want to go back and watch some of his matches, mate. Not saying that it's not a shame that he's dead, but
To do.
I would
Now, Mark,
love.
let me ask.
I would love.
How would you?
He was
How
solid.
would you book the Wyatt Sicks going forward, Marcus?
Currently, like right now, the Bo VHS tapes are fine, but it needs to get to a point where they're more physically involved in the cards. If you start off with them wrecking shop, you must continue that going forward. Now the vignettes of Bo, okay, that's a setup, that's a lead. Now you pull the trigger on what you want to do, what direction you want them as a group to go, whether it's more we're going after champions or we're going after other factions,
But
or
you
we're
already
going
know
after
where they're
other
going.
people.
You already know what they're doing. Sorry, I'm going to finally say something because I've been wanting to say something for a while, but don't be surprised if you see more VHS tapes that introduce the actual members of the group the way they just did it with Bo Dallas. The other thing is that you already know the direction they're going in, and it's with Chad Gable, and it's with the whole thing with Alpha Academy, and now with the Creed brothers, and a big line was dropped in the promo between Chad Gable and Jey
Jey,
Uso.
yeah.
You know, about like, you know, the reason
they'll come for you too because you've got their family. Yeah.
Well, no, but the thing is though is that the reason they're not going to go after Jey Uso is because he was the victim in his family.
Yeah.
Whereas Chad Gable is the abuser in his family of the Alpha Academy. And that's why you're seeing what we're seeing. And you're going to see more of that. So you already know the direction they're going in this.
And they made the right choice of pairing them up with Chad Gable to begin with, because even if he was asleep, he could get a 4-star match out of a broom handle. Right? Like,
Gable for the win.
Yeah. I want everybody. I want everybody in this to succeed. I just don't think this was it. This gimmick just, and I will not lie to you, it doesn't help that every time I see them on screen, I go, "Oh, that's a cash in on Bray's death." This doesn't feel good.
How much longer would you give it? How long do you think it's going to be between either we see the big finally get to the physical, like them having matches or doing something more
I would say by SummerSlam. By either during Money, like the end of Money in the Bank, or SummerSlam.
I'm definitely thinking SummerSlam because that's your biggest pay-per-view coming up.
I would argue Money in the Bank's bigger at this point. That's bigger than Survivor Series.
Yeah, I think Survivor Series is too far. I think SummerSlam is a pretty good.
So here's my thing, right? We were all incredibly critical when they brought in Mercedes Moné, and she just didn't do anything for a long time. She just sat around cutting promos. But I think because of the style of promo, I think if they change that up every now and again, they could get away with having like 8 more weeks of promos or whatever it is. They seem to be giving 2 weeks to everyone, right? But I already wanted to just fucking do something. Like,
so one thing
they started off great. They need to keep that momentum. It's like I said previously. It's just like if they're going to come in and wreck shop on Raw, if they're only going to be on Raw, then every week needs to be that level of content, that level of cinematic storytelling going forward.
Also, like a bunch of people. Sorry, Mike. A bunch of people got the shit kicked out of them, right? Why aren't they like, "Where's the Wyatt Sicks? I want to fight them."
So apparently, okay, so I'm going to backtrack to that part real quick, then go to what I wanted to say. So we ended up finding out that the only legitimate person in the WWE roster that was attacked was Gable. Everyone else was just jobbers that they brought in. So there was no Gunther, no Braun Strowman or Triple H, because there was some debate, no Carmelo Hayes, no Cody Rhodes. It was just jobbers and maybe like one of the actual producers in the back. You know, just kind of sitting in as one of the attacked. But the one thing I wanted to say is that what they probably should have done is like they should have done, instead of like maybe like, because yes, 2.5 months was way too long for doing all the QR codes, and I think it was a big reason was because they didn't know how or where they wanted them to actually debut at. I think that was the biggest problem they had. What they should have done was they probably should have done, and I think this is what's going to happen, and Marcus, you touched on this, they're going to probably do the vignette videos for the other members. I think they should have done the vignette videos for the other members, where it's Uncle Howdy interviewing them. And then the last one is the Bo Dallas one, where it's the reveal of Bo Dallas is Uncle Howdy, which is what we just got this past Monday. Because that would have built that up a little bit better. You know, instead of just like, you know, all these QR codes, and it's like little letters to each individual person. You could have done like the actual interviews, and maybe you could have had Sister Abigail, which is what Nikki Cross is, come out first. You know, she makes the actual physical appearance first, dropping off these VHS tapes. which then leads to the eventual what we ended up getting on that Monday Night Raw where they had the attack. And then you could have done the 2 weeks of the VHSs of what we just got now, which then can lead into more physical activity. I think they probably, should have done it a little bit more like that because it would have built more intrigue, faster. So now, because literally this Saturday, 2 days, it's Money in the Bank. You would have built everybody up to that point for Money in the Bank to do something more physical that then leads into SummerSlam. So there's just so much more. And then also there's something I was reading this morning about how Bill Apter doesn't like any of this stuff because Ben touched on it. It's all about wrestling now. That's like the major focus. But the thing is, though, is that the one thing where I disagree on that one point is like, yes, this is dominantly now a wrestling show, but you do need to have some entertainment element. You do need to have certain ways to also build up certain wrestlers, characters, and stuff like that for us to actually give a shit about them.
All right, Mike, answer me this.
Yes.
Arguably, the biggest name on Raw is CM Punk.
Yes.
Book me a feud between CM Punk and Uncle Howdy that makes sense. That isn't just CM Punk going, why do you all look like a bunch of rejects from Universal Horror Nights? And the moment he does that, that group's dead. Book me a feud of Gunther versus Uncle Howdy. That isn't just Gunther going, I'm the ring general, I'm no selling your spooky bollocks. Here, let me chop your fucking head off.
The only one, Punk, I feel like there could be a way that they could do it. But this is them would be going way back into Punk's past.
Yeah.
I feel like because of the fact that, now he's
Straight Up Society, the Nexus.
That type of thing.
There's stuff that they could do.
Oh, I'm not saying they couldn't find
Right.
They couldn't find things to play off of. I'm saying
It's
when
just
you look
because
at
if they
it on
put them
TV,
against them.
when you look at it on
gonna-
TV, you have a wrestler against Spooky Bollocks. It's not Spooky Bollocks versus Spooky Bollocks, or Spooky Bollocks versus a trash can man, or Spooky Bollocks versus a clown. And the trash can man and the clown is the last era that Spooky Bollocks worked.
So here's the thing. I'm not going to try to book anything right now, but like the one thing I will say is that one, we do need to see how a lot more of this comes out with Chad Gable, because that's the focus.
Mhm.
Because yes, it is Wyatt Sicks, it's the spooky stuff and everything like that, but the focus is on Chad Gable. And what if this ends up becoming, yes, I don't think it's going to be a main event act. I really don't. I think Wyatt Sicks will be more of a mid-card act. That's my
effort.
I hope not. Listen, I feel like with
Yeah,
all
I don't
this,
agree with.
you
I don't
can't-
agree with that statement, Mike.
you
I think
cannot
they
put
have,
them in
and that's
mid-card.
fine. You can. But here's the thing, though. I do agree with the one fact that Ben said. When you do look at the members of Wyatt Sicks, outside of Nikki Cross, who has been women's champion, and the eventual Alexa Bliss, because you saw that was what they're building to before Bray's passing. I don't see Bo as much as I think of him as a worker. I do think he's a good worker. Rowan's a good worker. He's just never going to be up at that level. Gacy still has a lot to him, and I've actually seen Gacy wrestle on the indies back in NCW Pro Wrestling. And Dexter Loomis is, another just good worker. None of those people are ever going to be main event WrestleMania. They're not going to be WWE or World Heavyweight Champions. Maybe a mid-card title, but then this goes to the one thing that Ben and I have talked about in the past on AwesomeMania, which is you got to bring up The Fiend. The Fiend is somebody that should have never won the title at all, period. And Wyatt Sicks is one of those groups, because of the way they are built and the way they are presented, it is a group that should not be winning titles.
Now, are
If
you
they
saying like in the Fiend form, or like Bray's character as a whole that you're saying they shouldn't have necessarily won the championship?
Bray is the Fiend because you pretty much built up a character, and I'm saying everything that Ben said on those past episodes of AwesomeMania. You build up a character that cannot be hurt, cannot be pinned, unless you're Bill Goldberg. Yeah. So how do you take somebody like that and make him a legitimate, how do you legitimately beat them? You had a Hell in a Cell match with Seth Rollins where they had to call the match because he put steps on him on the Fiend and took a sledgehammer and hit it, and the rest said, no, okay, I'm just going to stop this, even though it had no effect on the Fiend. Like, that's what you're also going to get with Wyatt Sicks. You're getting a group that has essentially a no-sell capability when it comes to taking damage.
Here's the thing. If the Wyatt Sicks turns out to be these people that turn up once every 6 months and avenge a specific wrong that is happening in the WWE and then go away again, I'll be fine with this gimmick. Right? Because the thing that ruined the Fiend, I was never a big fan of the Fiend, but the Fiend was excellent when it was being used as a special event, where it was brought out once in a lifetime, it hurt someone, and it went away. But having the Fiend around all the time kind of killed it. And I would say, if that's what they intend to do with the Wyatt Sicks, okay, I'll be okay with it.
All right, I've heard enough of this shit. This shit is fire. This shit is absolutely fucking fire. I don't know what the hell y'all talking about. Look, for somebody...
So first off, Sid, I want to say, I do love the whole Wyatt Sicks. I've been loving everything.
I've been listening,
being realistic about stuff too. At the same
and I hear y'all. I've been listening to everything y'all have been saying. Y'all have way more knowledge than I do when it comes to any of this. So I listen. I try to soak it all in and take it. But for somebody who was not around for, unfortunately, Bray Wyatt's run and all the spooky stuff y'all saying and talking about, for somebody who's more recently getting back in to watch this shit is fucking fire and it is amazing right now. Yep. I do agree that they're walking a tightrope with it because I can see where it can get gimmicky and I can see where it gets good. But for right now, they're on the straight path. And right now, in Trips, I trust. Ever since he's kind of taken over his creative and all that kind of stuff, he's got plans that we don't see yet. I do agree with Marcus. They could have all taken. I hear you. Not good wrestlers, jobbers, whatever, outside of Nikki Cross. They could have taken the time to sow their craft and got better and come back and, put on better matches. We don't know. We're not into that. But for right now, this shit is working every single week. And I find myself to the point I'm tuning into Monday looking for the Wyatt Sicks every week. I want to slow burn. I don't want to rush this.
Look at my Twitter feed. It is literally anything that is WWE related. It is just Wyatt Sicks retweets.
It works. I want to buy their merch. It's working overall. Whatever they're doing, like it or not, it is working and it's keeping us captivated and more people are tuning in every week. There's a lot of people like me who haven't been into it as long as you all have, or I would say get back into it. I've missed some time. This is just fire. It's gas. It looks good. It gets us hyped up and everything. I want those promos with them talking to themselves and their alter egos. I want to see that. I'm not looking to rush this. I want to slow build. I think they're still go after Chad Gable and other factions and stuff like this. When it gets there,
Mark is showing off toys of two people who aren't. Mark is showing off toys of two people who aren't actually in the Wyatt Sicks.
Like I hear what y'all are saying. Y'all have been into it for so long, but for somebody recently getting back into it, this is amazing.
And that's
right
awesome.
Now.
Don't get me wrong.
At
no point am I saying that I don't want people to enjoy this. Right? At no point am I saying the debut wasn't visually arresting. At no point am I saying these video interviews with Bo haven't been really well edited and put together brilliantly and whatever. And as we covered earlier, what is good for business is what they're going to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Wyatt Sicks is clearly good for business, as was when they brought Bray back, right? But when they brought Bray back, his one and only match was the Mountain Dew Cold
That was the
Black.
only match I've seen of his. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get that. Like I said, for me, I'm not familiar with Bray and all that stuff. I'm looking at what's happening now as it is.
And what I'm trying to get at is this. While I did put this, it is a little bit of hyperbole, right? There's a certain amount of I've seen so many promising things in my years as a wrestling fan that have just shit the fucking pot. Right? Even things like someone mentioned them earlier, the Nexus. When the Nexus showed up and they ruined Raw on their first night, and then less than 6 weeks later, Cena was beating them at SummerSlam 1-on-7.
Yeah,
kicking out of DDTs on a.
I mean that was like 6. 7
I've never heard of the Nexus, so
we'll get
you need
on
educators,
that.
man.
Well, just so you know, Bray Wyatt was a part of the Nexus. Was in the Nexus.
He was Husky Harris.
Husky Harris. I know you've heard us say that, Sin. We had talked about the evolution of his character. Like
Wade Barrett was the leader of the Nexus.
Yes.
CM Punk was also the leader of the Nexus.
Hey, that was an unfair. That was an unfair steal.
Long story short, given we've gone off what we've talked about with, especially very recently with like Mercedes Moné, and then drawing things out way too much and it not delivering. I can already see the Wyatt thing, and that's my problem with it, right? Even on its debut moment, I could be like, "Oh, they're gonna fuck this up, aren't they?" Oh,
I hear you. With Mercedes, I was right there.
Yeah,
they know. They did nothing to make me like Mercedes whatsoever. I can't stand it right now.
We were already on the fence.
Did you watch Dynamite last night?
I'm in the process of watching it right now.
Yeah.
Like that whole thing with Britt and Mercedes.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it because I'm not there yet. But okay.
Yeah.
Listen, they could have kept the two. I know for the sake of getting Britt to that belt, like Britt's coming into the ring and having a whole time, you're going to enjoy that. Okay. Once Mercedes came out and put herself in the middle of it, it was just like
she Mercedes. Yeah.
Britt challenge her now and just take the belt.
She already did. But here's the thing. The faster they get the TBS title off of Monet and onto Britt Baker, the better it's going to be.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest,
I'm going to come back to this in a minute.
We are. That's going to fill in over into page, because like, I'm going to be real with you. We'll probably take a few more minutes on this, and this is actually going to be the beginning of, this is going to be the whole, because we went for a good while on the Wyatt Sicks.
I was soaking up the information because y'all know way more than me.
That's fine. And this is why I love this dynamic that we have, right? I love the dynamic of the five of us, right? Because we have like the new fan in Sin. We have the older, more educated fans in myself, Mike.
I don't like the newer fans and the educated. Like I used to watch it back in the day. I know a little something. I remember a little bit.
Right, but you aren't going to sit there and go, do you remember that time that Isla Dawn and Alba Fire were supposed to be witches in NXT?
Yeah. Spooky gimmick.
Yeah. I do know.
They actually put a curse on the women tag team champion.
I caught the tail end of that with all that. I did catch all that.
Definitely was that.
I know.
Really worked.
That curse worked. That was actually really.
I actually liked the curse. Like it made the whole thing with the titles make sense. Like okay.
So you know what? Hey,
we've got. Sorry.
Oh no, that curse thing spilled onto Sasha, which then ended up turning into Mercedes Moné, I believe is what it did.
I'll take it.
Go ahead.
And we've got Jokes, who's like this moderator that tries to keep everything fucking running.
Listen,
And
I
and
don't
then
need
you've
like you guys are.
Exactly, man. That's why I was so quiet before. I was like, I need to hold this in and let them talk.
And then you've
I don't
got
put
like,
it jokes.
and you got Mike, who's just going to be like, well, here's this thing I read that's actually been like brought up as the information. And then you've just got like me and Marcus that are like, I love this dynamic that we've got.
Yeah.
It's great.
I dig it. But the
yeah,
Wyatt Sicks,
to sum it up, the Wyatt family or the Wyatt Sicks, should I say, it is treading a tightrope that for me right now is working, but I can absolutely see why it is for other people.
And I can agree with you. I think they're on a tightrope. They can easily keep going what they're doing, but at any second, if they don't do it properly, it can go into cheesy and corny. So
I will
Shut the
say-
fuck up next door. I'm trying to record. I don't need your fireworks on here.
Oh, don't worry. I'm in the hood.
I will
They
say,
popping out here.
one more thing. In regards
they've been
to the Wyatt
going
Sicks.
all right
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
backyard. Like it's
The one thing I
nonstop.
want to say is I agree with Mike. I don't need the group to have all the gold. I don't need it like an elite. I don't need it
Yeah, I don't need
like
that.
a bloodline. I don't care if I never. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I do kind of want to see Bo Wyatt get close to that cusp of a championship, like a main championship.
I just want him to recap.
But I don't
That's all.
need him to be like, oh, the champion of champions. I don't need that. I just need them to show
My
that they're a dominant
My
force.
concern with that is if he gets into a title match and doesn't win, then that will deflate
Where
the
he's at.
West. Much like with the Fiend, once they
Depends
put him
on
in the title match.
Well,
Depends.
well, no. A good example is what happened when Balor brought out the Demon to face Roman.
Roman.
You had to,
Yeah.
you literally had to have shenanigans. Like what was it? He went up to the top rope,
Top
for the
rope
coup de
broke.
grace, and the top
Yep.
rope broke. That was the reason Roman won, and you would need to legitimately do
Yeah.
something like that.
Buried the
For
demon.
Wyatt, and it buried, literally did bury the Demon. But it also, if you had to do something like that to a member of the Wyatt Sicks, just to make sure that they couldn't win a title.
Can we just bring back the Prince from NXT? Bring back that Finn Balor.
I would like
Bring
that
back-
Finn to
I
come
bet-
back.
That Finn Balor.
Hey, jokes no.
We've been talking about.
I've been
that
saying
for a
that
while.
for the longest.
Bring back the Prince and bring back the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler.
Basically.
Give
We've
me
been talking about
NXT
that
Shayna
too.
Baszler.
But I'm good with
I'll be
it.
the hack.
The Wyatt Sicks, I'm hoping that this can keep going and be solid. Like, I would hate for this to fizzle out, like, really quick, but definitely valid points as we go through this. Like, if they lose, like, me and Marcus had this conversation. At this point, like, when they start getting to their matches, it's just got to be, like, a win after a win after a win. And it's like, as soon as, obviously, if Bo takes an L, that deflates the whole entire thing. Some of the others, I guess it won't mean as much, but
Hey, look,
I guess-
I just need them to win X number of matches. After a certain point, at a certain number of wins, where it shows that they've been dominating, and whatever vignettes and everything else in the background has shown that they are solid. Losses, I won't care about, because okay, I know this group does not care about gold. They are just here to ensue chaos.
But at the same time, if they are to take L's, you have to find a way to not bury them and make them still look strong and stuff like that. Unlike, like as we've said before, Finn Balor's Demon versus Roman Reigns.
Unlike Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay.
I dig it. I think we can wrap up. Like, listen, this ended up just turning into the Wyatt Sicks. I'm good with it.
I genuinely didn't know how long you wanted me to go, so I just kept talking.
Hey, listen, it was working. I was waiting for that guy ended up to chime in, and he ended up finally chiming in for it.
Yeah, Mr. Timekeeper over
yeah.
there, you know, Mr. Timekeeper.
Like I said,
Not even a timekeeper piece.
I knew where I sat, but I was listening to what you all were saying. Like I said, y'all have more information with me when it comes to the Wyatts and Bray and all that stuff. And I just, took it all in and just at some point said, man, I like this shit.
And that's
I'm
fine.
good with it.
And I want to underline again, if you are enjoying Wyatt Sicks, good for you.
That's a thumbs up for those of you who are listening. He did a thumbs up.
I did also say good for you.
He did. He did.
But it, I don't know. I'm
And I don't even like scary shit.
Hey, listen.
But I like weird and a little creepy. You know, like I like Dexter Loomis. I like Nikki Cross.
The moment something's
scary, I like the
scary,
creepy people.
the moment they actually, if they were to do something seriously scary, that's the
Then
moment
turn
where
off the
he's
TV. So turn off the
turn it
TV.
off. And
No. I would stop watching wrestling, sir. That's how you would go. Once it crosses that point, jokes.
I said, bye, said. All right,
That's
thanks for dropping by.
Yep.
Have you seen the episode of Monday Night Raw where the Undertaker straps a 17-year-old Stephanie McMahon to a crucifix and tries to marry her?
I've probably seen that. It was back in the Attitude Era. I probably forgot about it, but Attitude Era I was watching.
Clearly.
So I probably forgot, yeah.
Clearly, you ain't getting away with that now.
Back when the Undertaker's
No.
faction was called the Ministry of Darkness.
Ministry of Darkness. Yeah. I was around at that time. It was after the Attitude Era where I
Dropped off from it. I dig it. All right, y'all. So that's been the beginning part of the Finisher podcast. Good old Wyatt Sicks conversation. Let us know. The main thing is, what do you guys think about the Wyatt Sicks gimmick right now? Let us know in the comments. Message us. Let us know, because right now we're on the incline. But let's hope that we don't hit the peak super soon.
How steep will the decline be?
Because, like, listen, I don't want Uncle Howdy to, like, somehow I feel like at the end of this, somehow Howdy's just going to revert back to Bo Dallas.
Healthy, the biggest thing is I want all of them to stay healthy,
True.
and I want them to put on great matches. Though that's the biggest thing that I like. If I had to say one thing I'm worried about, is everyone in the group staying healthy, because a few of them are injury prone.
We'll see. I got faith. I have a lot of faith going into this that I think we'll be in a good spot. Accidents happen, of course. It is the nature of the business, but
yeah,
I feel like we'll be in good shape here for it. So for those that are listening, watching currently right now, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna shift to our Patreon exclusive. I'm gonna say topics, because we're probably gonna have two. I think we're gonna have two of them. We're gonna limit them. We're gonna have two of them. But for those that want to be able to check that out, jump on over to Patreon. That's going to be the only place you're going to be able to see the exclusive topics that we do anytime that we record the Finisher podcast. Everything else, of course, you guys can watch on YouTube. Ben, Mike, let everybody know. I know you guys have told our crew a lot of times to find you at, but let's do it in case some of the Patreon folks that are not tuned in. Where do they find you guys at when they want to check you guys out?
All right, so Ben, give him a second. He needs to fix his headphones. Headphones fell off. All right, so while we're waiting for Ben to get back, you can find me on Twitter.
Like the third time my headphones have fallen off tonight.
Yeah. You could find me on Twitter at the Lindenbaum75, Facebook at facebook.com/X75 Productions, and of course, everything for me is also on txhthockey.com, including our podcast AwesomeMania and the sister show that we do, which is Voices from the Grid. So, Ben.
You can find me at Bob T Goldfish on Twitter. You can find me doing video game streaming stuff at 321_TV on Twitch. Mondays and Fridays, we're currently doing some Star Trek Resurgence on Mondays, and I've been convinced to play through hundreds of hours of Final Fantasy XIV on Fridays. So that's what we're doing right now. Though I would predict at least one of those will take a break when The War Within releases and we start playing WoW's new expansion.
And also, even though it hasn't been officially announced on the website, you will see us at RisuCon on August 17th and 18th in Rockville, Maryland, which you'll also see our good friends up here of Loading Snacks as well, which, gentlemen, we also need to talk afterwards. We have behind the scenes conversations we still need.
Right, yeah. Cross some T's, dot some I's, that type of thing.
As always.
Dotting my lowercase J's.
I dig it. Appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and do the quick cut, but for all of you guys that have tuned in, much appreciated as usual. For the usual suspects, Marcus and Sin, Michael, and thank you guys for tuning in.
What's good, Loading Snacks Universe? Did you think that was too sweet? Well, do me a favor. Like, share, and subscribe on whatever platform you're watching us on. And also, jump on over to patreon.com/loading snacks, where you can support us in everything we do and pick the tier of your choice. Much appreciated.